Hey friends, Jill here, and welcome back to the Market Vibe podcast. I am so excited to have Hallee Smith as a guest today. First of all, if you don't know Hallee, please go follow her on TikTok and Instagram and YouTube because she is so kind and she's hilarious. And I'm so happy we're finally meeting, like for real, for the first time.
Yeah, me too. I can't believe that this is the first time we've met, not face to face, actually, one step closer than just voice.
But it feels like natural. I was like, oh, hey girl, what's up?
I know. Yeah, I agree. I know. I was like, oh, we know each other. But then I was like, hold on. This is the first time I've seen you moving on a camera and that's not pre-recorded.
Oh, the power of social media. Okay, bye, we're done. Podcast over.
That's all.
So for anyone who's listening who might not know who you are, can you tell everybody a little bit about your story and how you got to where you are right now?
Yeah, of course. So like she said, my name's Hallee and I'm a short form video content creator. I got my start on TikTok and I also own my own business, Hallee Media and Design LLC, where I help people become content creators. I work with aspiring content creators and I do those two things hand in hand. So I got my start when I had a series blow up where I was acting as Siri. The irony is I was actually helping out a friend who was at the time blowing up on TikTok on their own page. And I had had a couple random videos before that go viral, but they were just kind of random. And they never really got me followers. It was just like, oh, cool, a viral video. So once I started acting as Siri, I had this idea to use the duet feature to put the character on my page because I was, doing all this work. And the day I posted that, my account just took off. I think I had 3,000 followers before that, and I went from 3,000 to 30,000 in one day. And I was like, what do I do with this? Because that was when I was first starting my business, and I didn't know what was happening. So that all happened really fast, and I actually went from zero pretty much to 1 million in 6 months. And so since then, I'm at 1.2 million now on TikTok. It's kind of been playing catch up because it did happen so fast. There were pros and cons to that. I have to learn influencer marketing. I have to realize this is something I actually do want to do. How can I make this something I can do long term? So yeah, that long story short, that's kind of what got me to where I am today. Now I'm really diving into YouTube as well. And I'm really loving YouTube actually right now.
That's awesome. And I feel like I totally identify with you so much because TikTok really gave us our start as well. Mm-hmm. And just like the power that the platform has and just being able to get on, I don't want to say like early, but being able to like leverage something and create a series and like a real personal brand is super powerful. Like I think TikTok is still pretty underestimated with like the potential that it has.
Yeah.
But I know that you're really like the series that really popped off for you was getting Starbucks baristas and Dunkin' Donuts baristas to spell your name correctly. And then that kind of evolved into make a drink out of my outfit, which also exploded too. That's when I met you is when you were making those and those were popping off. So like kind of talk about that whole journey and transformation that led you to that.
Yeah. So when I was doing the Siri videos, like I said, that was the first thing that made my account get traction. But because it had been started by somebody else, it wasn't really me. Like I was just kind of helping somebody out. And then that turned into what my page was. And I was like, this is fun. It's cool. But like, it doesn't really fully align with what I'm doing. So I came up with the idea for the Starbucks series. I was talking to one of my really good friends and I was like, I want to do something where people spell my name right because I always have this problem. People always say my name wrong. People always spell my name wrong. I think it would be funny to just like make a joke about it. She was like, what if you do it at Starbucks? They already write your name on the cup. I was like, oh my gosh, that's genius. Little did I know Starbucks is a trend on social media. And so the stars aligned on that one, that it was relatable because so many people have that problem getting their name spelled wrong. And then also because Starbucks is so wildly popular among the generation that's on TikTok. So I did it at Starbucks, and then my most popular comment was do it at Dunkin'. So then I did the whole series at Dunkin'. And then after that, I was like, I feel like I need to kind of diversify. And I had seen a couple people do like ordering a drink inspired by their personality or by their outfit. It was kind of a trend at one point, and so then I did it once and it worked really well with my audience, so I just kept it going, and I thought it was a fun way to show off some local stuff too.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I think what's really special about that journey is like you really listened to your community and you really brought them into the conversation. You brought them into the whole form of content creation. And I think that's when it gets super special. And when you form those diehard fans. For us, we would do lives and we would cook dinner together and we'd be like, okay, y'all, this is what's in our fridge. What are we making tonight? And we had like we had a couple chefs pop on and they're like, hey, okay, let's do this. And like they walked us through a recipe while we were on the live. So I think the more that you can encourage your community, that's what's really going to like seal the deal for like your longevity as a public. I always mess up this. A public person. What is that?
Public figure.
Thank you. A public figure or an influencer.
Someone in the public, influencer.
I always mess that up, but you know what I'm saying? Like that's really what's going to solidify you.
Yeah. And I've really started to appreciate and focus on community, especially with YouTube. I did have my TikTok numbers dropped off pretty significantly for a while, and a big part of it was I was going through a tough time mentally and like adjusting to some things, but part of it was I don't think I was engaging enough with them. Like I was listening to their ideas, but then I also got to this point where I didn't even want to look at TikTok because of the mental health I was struggling with. So now with YouTube, I kind of felt like, okay, I have this community, they're super engaged. The thing I love about YouTube too is that there are a few more ways that you can connect with your audience. And so that audience is super engaged. I do a live with them weekly. And I'm translating that now to TikTok as well and my numbers are picking back up, but that just goes to show how important community is. People feeling like they're a part of something.
Yeah. I remember seeing Craig, I can't remember his last name, but this amazing copywriter talking about that people want to rally behind someone or behind something. And even if it's totally inconsequential, if they believe in it, they will get behind it. And that can be a product. It can be a person. I mean, like I'm always selling Michael on Vlogmas. I'm like, oh my God, babe, these Vlogmas, I love them. Like, and he's watching
I love
now.
Vlogmas. I think everybody aspires to be Vlogmas viral.
Oh my God. I did Vlogmas last year and I think I made it to day 18. Actually, that's a lie. I think I made it to like day 12 because just with like mental health things and family things. And then I was like, man, I'm done with this now. But yeah, that's definitely like the Olympics of YouTubing is Vlogmas.
Yes.
But, you said something really interesting. There's two things I want to touch on. And the first thing is like mental health as a content creator. And like, I've been really diving into this a lot lately because I feel like we're essentially entrepreneurs. We hustle our asses off and it's really easy with the easy access of your phone being online all the time. And so kind of talk about like how you figured out for you, like when that moment was, if, as much as you feel comfortable talking about like where you wanted to just be like, I need to take a break and it's okay to take a break and really focus on me.
Yeah. So, I won't go into too much detail because it was a pretty like significant event, but it was something that was pretty traumatic to me in terms of like a relationship with somebody. And it was in the midst of blowing up on TikTok. So, I'm making these videos where I'm happy and excited and I'm making other people happy and they're DMing me like, oh, you've helped me with like suicidal thoughts. You helped me overcome these terrible days. And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, I feel horrible all the time, but I'm like, I don't feel like I'm being real because I'm actually hurting so bad inside and I'm so mentally unwell. So, but also, you don't want to be just negative talking about how horrible everything is. And so it was kind of trying to find that balance. But when I hit my breaking point, I actually had a panic attack. Was when I realized like I had to take a step back. And I'd never had one before. I didn't even know what it was until after it happened. It was terrifying. And so after that, I was like, okay, I literally have to start focusing on my mental health, because I was spreading myself so thin across everywhere. And so at that point, I decided that I was going to, I tried to take a week off of social media, but I still did not fully. But from there, I started working on setting boundaries with social media, with people, with where I spend my time, and making sure that like I'm around people who are, lifting me up.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it's been a process, but it's definitely, I'm so much better now, like after focusing on the mental health aspect. I think it's so important for everybody to be aware of
Mm-hmm.
what social media can do. There's positives, but it can also be negative.
Yeah, and I think that what you said is really important because like a lot of ours are skits as well. Like they're skits, they're comedy, which is a similar genre to what you do. And like, yeah,
Yeah.
it's hard. Like when we were creating ours, like my mom had COVID, there was just so much uncertainty. There's been times when we've been fighting or arguing about something and we're like, but we got to get this done anyway. And it's not that you're being misleading. It's just like if this is your job, like if you had a regular 9 to 5 job, you'd still have to show up. You'd still have to be like, okay, I'm here. I got to get my game face on. I got to work. So I think that there's that difference. But then it's also like acknowledging that it's okay to step away, or it's okay to just say like, hey, you guys, I am not well today. And you know who I think does this really well is Remy Bajer, who does the realistic try-on hauls. She's been so open and candid about her mental health journey and body image journey. And I think it's just really important that it's okay to acknowledge that. And I've been talking a lot about entrepreneur guilt. Like you feel like I have to be working at all times.
Yes. I have that so bad.
That's like my resolution for 2022 is to like be okay with like turning off at 6 and not answering messages after 6 and protecting that side of my mental health, because you're just going to burn out eventually, which I've totally done before. So I just want to like really give you props for taking that time and recognizing that, because you could have kept going.
Yeah. And I did kind of start to have that balance where you recognize that it's there, like, hey, everything's not perfect, I'm struggling with some things, but you're not just complaining about it all the time on social media. You're still doing, like you said, it's your job to do these skits, to do these videos that make people happy and feel a certain way. So you can do a balance of the two, and it doesn't mean you're not being authentic, as long as you're not pretending to be someone else, obviously. I think authenticity can be such a subjective topic.
Yeah, because I feel like there is a difference between being authentic and then being completely like fake, like putting on a fake persona. And I feel like people can recognize it because, and I think what comes with authenticity is acknowledging when like I'm tired, like I'm hurting, I need a break, like I need this. And like I was telling you, this is probably going up sometime in January. We are taking, in this present moment, a break from social media, and we've been creating content for literally 2.5 years straight, like every single day, Monday through Friday. Something is posting somewhere, and we just got to a point where we're like, you know what, we've laid this foundation, and it's okay for us to like take a short break for the holidays and to focus on like what's our next steps, what's our strategy. And it's just been so great for our mental health. And I think that we can get in this cycle of thinking like you have to be online constantly, but taking a break is also smart as well, because then it also gives people this freedom that they can take a break too. So it's definitely it's definitely like the entrepreneur guilt is like a bitch, man. Sometimes I'm just like,
oh my gosh,
get out of here.
She is so rude to me.
I know, she's so mean. And I think that it's just part of our culture. We're taught that we have to be like working constantly, when honestly, when you look at like an average 8-hour day, people only work about 4 hours. So
yeah, that's the thing with for me, balancing the freelance work on the side as well. with pricing stuff, I used to be stuck in this hourly pricing model, but I'm like, no, because when I'm working on something for an hour, I'm working on it for an hour. I'm not just sitting there and then maybe like type a few things out. It's work. It's not the same as an 8-hour day. So yeah, that's such a good point too. Yeah. Entrepreneurship, it's not about how long you sit in an office. It's about what do you actually get done, because it's results driven.
Yeah. And plus, like, doing something for like 4 hours might create a wave for like an entire week. So I think it's just remembering that too. Like, it's not like you have to be creating constantly or doing something constantly. It's like remembering, like, you're in the beginning, you're kind of creating your wave, like in those big wave pools. That's how I really think of social media, is you're creating your wave. And then once you get it going, then you can kind of back off a little bit and then catch it back, after you've taken a break.
Yeah, take breaks. Yeah, exactly. And that actually reminds me of the fact that, how I said I kind of stepped back. I switched up my video style a little bit, but I was curious if how my old video style would work, the Dunkin' until they spell my name right, Starbucks. So everybody was doing these posts recapping their most viral videos. So I tried reposting mine just to see how it did. And it is at 500,000 views. And that's my biggest video in a while. Like I said, my numbers had dropped off. So that just shows that people remember that, or it's still reaching that same audience. It doesn't go away. That's the cool thing about TikTok, I've noticed, is they somehow, the algorithm gets your content and it knows who to show it to if it hits.
Yeah, the shelf life of a TikTok that goes viral is really interesting. I think it has, depending on how big it was, I think it has like up to 4 to 5 reposts, depending on how big it is. Then it kind of starts to slow down. But I can't remember who told us that. It was a good friend of ours who's like amazing on TikTok. But I know, I love that about TikTok as well. Like, the repost value is so good. You can like definitely really drag out like a piece of content and show it to more and more people, because it's got to be something like remembered in their system. They've already seen it. It's already been approved. So then they just send it out again. But I'm right
like
there with you.
Recognizes similar content, because if I were to make a video in that same style, I think that it would perform to that same audience.
Oh yeah.
Whereas if I make it in a completely different style, it's like it's starting from square one.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And then, like, if you try and make pivots, it's so hard on TikTok unless you have the community that's like, I don't care what you do, I'm gonna like everything.
Yeah, that's how my community is on YouTube. They're like, I'm like, what do you guys want me to post? They're like, whatever you want. I'm like, okay, thanks.
Like, I don't know, some content.
Yeah,
I know, YouTube is fun. YouTube is a really fun platform. So kind of switching gears a little bit, how would you talk about like the business of being a content creator, and what has that shift looked like for you? What are any tips that you could give to somebody who's like, I really want to get into content creation and actually make it my full-time job?
The biggest thing I think is starting with your foundation, starting with what do you want to be doing? Because when you're a content creator, it gets overwhelming. There's so many different ways you can make money. It's entrepreneurship, but people are throwing it in your face, all the different things you can do. There'll be, I'm sure people have pitched you on their content creator apps that'll help you make money left and right. There's so many different ways you can make money as a content creator. So I would encourage people who are getting started to start with, what is the most ideal way you'd like to make money? Is it through merch? Do you want to own your own clothing line? Do you want to have a product? Do you want to just do brand deals? Some people love doing brand deals. Do you want to be an online course creator? I myself have been exploring everything because that's just how I am.
Same, girl. We've done all that.
Yeah. So I'm working on focusing on one thing at a time. And like I mentioned, right now, that's the online course, but there's so much opportunity and so many different ways you can make money. Thinking about what is that thing that you want to be doing and committing to that and figuring out what you have to do to make money as a creator in that field.
Mm, that is such good advice because, and I think that, yeah, because everything loses its dust, it's sparkle magic. Everything loses that allure when you've done it for a while. So I think you're so
Mhm.
right. It's really important just figuring out, like, are you okay with doing a brand deal, even when you're exhausted? So I think that's
Mhm.
really smart. And it's smart to explore every single way because let's say you explore 5 ways and then you figure out that 2 are really good money makers and 1 is like sort of, every once in a
Yeah.
while. That can be
Right.
like a good chance for you if you want to keep going, have 3 different streams of income or 3 different
Yes.
ways of making money. And yeah, I think it's just really important to remember that in entrepreneurship and in content creation in general, there isn't just one way to make money. It's not like
Yes.
a job. There's like so many different ways that you can diversify, where you can be having different multiple incomes. So it's important to
Mhm.
explore all of those, everything.
Yeah, and I'll clarify on what I said too, because focusing on one thing at a time is more so what I was getting at than just
Mhm.
one thing. Like you said, yeah, you want diverse revenue streams because there are going to be so many different ways you can do affiliate, you can do the brand deals. The brand deals aren't always going to be consistent unless you get lucky and get one that's going to pay you monthly.
Yeah, those
Um,
year-long contracts. Those are
yeah,
the good
right.
ones.
Every content creator's dream.
Yeah. But I
But
get what
yeah,
you're saying. Yeah.
the brand deals, it seems like brand deals, I mean, just knowing from our conversations we would always have on Clubhouse, brand deals is always the one that people want. It
Mhm.
sounds cool, it sounds fun, but it's definitely its own beast in that you don't know when you're always going to get one. It's hard
Mhm.
to be consistent, but they can pay well. So I guess one tip for you would be, anyone listening, don't do them for free.
Seriously,
Don't.
or free product.
Absolutely not. If you want to get experience, take a maximum of 3 free deals, but don't let them take advantage of you. Don't do them for free.
Yeah,
Know your
seriously.
worth, because I just delete emails now if they're like trying to, I don't know. They incentivize you, but yeah, you're working. You're using your expertise, your creativity, your talent for their benefit. You should be
Mhm.
getting paid.
Yeah, and I think especially what you said with your creativity, because I just recently, back in August, went through like a serious creative block. And thank God we didn't
Mhm.
have anything going on at that time that was like brand deal, because
Yeah.
I was like so scraped dry. And even I was struggling with like for our marketing clients, I was really
Mhm.
struggling. So I think, yeah, protecting that space and protecting that, that is, you're using your brain power, you're creating something from nothing. And like,
Mhm.
you should 100% be compensated for that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one thing with creativity is you only have so much, you will burn out. It's
Mm-hmm.
not like a job where you can just, power through it. You have to be able to think and come up with the ideas, or else you're not doing it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, seriously, girl, preach. I love
I
it.
feel that. Yeah, creative block, inevitable, but the worst.
It's not fun. Like I definitely experienced it, and it was like the first time in a very long time I've ever experienced anything like that. I think the last
Mhm.
time was in college, and it was really hard. I really had to do like some soul searching and doing things. It kind of brought me back to like focusing on myself and my self-care, and really like feeling like I was stimulated and like creatively in other areas of my life. And that actually helped it get back. But yeah, man, creative block is it's a rough
Very
journey when that
frustrating.
happens.
Yes, it definitely is.
Have you had that happen before?
Oh yeah, I've definitely had. I mean, I feel like it goes in little spurts. Like I'm almost having it a little bit right now where I had a big creative spurt in the past 2 weeks and now I'm like, I don't know what else to do.
Well, it's perfect because it's Christmas, so we can just like
Yeah.
unplug and
It's
chill.
almost, yeah, exactly. Take a break, Hallie. That's probably what the universe is saying. But yeah, I think that I forgot my train of thought. Oh, it's like the beginner's mind when you're first starting. A lot of the people I talk to are like, do I get on TikTok? You're tell me how to do TikTok. I'm like, well, you just got to start posting. That's the first thing. And so creative blocks it's almost like you're back at square one because you have to just try something again. I feel like for me, that's almost the mindset I get into is I'm like, I know that idea is bad. I don't know that idea is bad. I don't know what to do. And I just do something and okay, that wasn't that bad. Okay, no, I can do this different. Sometimes it's just a matter of getting started again.
That is such good advice. I'm definitely going to remember that if that happens again, but we're not going to put that out there.
We're going to hope it doesn't.
No, we're not going to put that out there. So just to wrap up, so I know that you mentioned that you've got a course coming out in January. Can you kind of tell people about it and then where they can find you if they want to get in touch with you?
Yeah, so I'm on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Hallee_Smith. YouTube, it's just Hallee Smith, LLEE. That's the common misspelling. So my website is where the hub for everything. I have merch. That's where you can find the pre-sales actually open for my online course. And so that's halleesmith.com, HALLEESMITH.com. And the course just covers, it's an evergreen approach to creating content, laying your foundation, just, how to create quality content that connects with an audience on camera. And I wanted something that was evergreen because the platforms are changing so fast. But I do have a TikTok 101, Reels 101 free mini courses as well. You'll find that all on the halleesmith.com link. So yeah, that's the best place to connect with me, but feel free to shoot me a DM. I love to hear from people that consume the content. And yeah, I'm really glad we did this. This was fun.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming on. I love diving in with like other content creators because it's such a new uncharted territory. And I feel like all of us are really like blazing the trail right now. Like we're like really paving the way. Which is where, like we were saying, terrifying, but also great.
Right, exactly. I know. We're changing the landscape of the world.
Amen, sis. Well, thanks so much for being on here. This was so much fun.
Thanks for having me. This was so fun. I love this. I love podcasts.
Me too.
I'm starting one soon, hopefully.
Do it. Yes. Well, thanks so much, Hallee.
Thank you.